You want to get bigger, stronger, and faster? If your weekly routine just consists of lifting and conditioning work, you're only incorporating 2 of the 3 ingredients necessary to reach this goal. What's missing? Your ability to actually move all that meat and muscle around, also known as mobility. What is mobility training? What exactly is mobility work? Stretching? Yoga? Bear crawls and walking lunges? It could be any of these things. Mobility designates exercises that will increase your range of motion and your stabilization, or control of the muscles that surround each joint, Wickham explains. Mobility incorporates flexibility and strength, and it's crucial to help you squat deeper, push harder, and jump higher. Why you need to start working on mobility. You've probably heard this before, but it's worth repeating, because we spend so much time in poor, static positions, including in front of a computer, TV, or phone. Our body gets tight and lacks both optimal range of motion and adequate activation of specific muscle groups, says Wickham. Head into a workout with limited range of motion, and your assistance muscles will start to compensate. Because assistance muscles are typically smaller and weaker, forcing them to handle excessive torque is a recipe for pain and injury. Worse, if your lifts aren't activating primary muscles because you can't achieve full range of motion, you probably won't even build the muscle you are working toward. But let's say you already warm up when you get to the gym. Isn't that enough? Well, probably not. In my experience, most people either don't know that they need to spend time working on their mobility, don't know what they should be doing, or are wasting their time performing ineffective techniques, Wickham says. And you never really know it's trouble until it's too late. Most people can get away with poor mobility and movement for a finite amount of time until your body has had enough, and injury and pain set in. Who should do mobility work? Literally everyone should add movement work to their warm-up. Just because you know your way around a gym doesn't mean you in any way have good range of motion. Your body doesn't care how long you've been working out. If your shoulder has limited range of motion and you keep jamming it every time you perform a push-up, bench press, or snatch, it's eventually going to push back by way of injury. How will mobility really help? There are 2 reasons to do mobility work: to prevent getting injured and to get stronger. We know you only want to hear about the latter, but nothing will put the hurt on your gains like an impingement or strain that prevents you from lifting in the first place. Inadequate mobility and stability lead to about 90% of the injuries that come into our physical therapy practice, says Wickham. Of course, no one cares about their injury risk until one seemingly typical lift goes awry in the matter of a few seconds. But you should. Just 15 minutes of mobility warm-up work every day can prevent a devastating injury: torn rotator cuff, slipped disc that'll keep you out of the gym for months. How will mobility work help? Consider the deadlift. To achieve optimal deadlift position, you need flexible hips and mobility in several other joints and muscles. When you have inflexible hips or hamstrings, neighboring joints that can't handle so much weight at that angle, like, say, your vulnerable lower back, will have to pick up some of the strain. A day later, that extra lower back work may just feel like a little soreness in your lumbar spine. But keep lifting like that, and chances are pretty high you'll eventually pay the price, whether from another tight deadlift or just bending down to lift your kid off the floor. If you do mobility work regularly, though, you improve that range of motion: looser hips, more flexible hamstrings, and your body can use your powerhouse muscles to muscle that barbell off the floor instead. Furthermore, limited range of motion translates to limited muscle growth compared to 12 weeks of shallow squats. Doing deep squats built more thigh muscle, improved knee extension and flexion, and boosted squat jump power. Having optimal mobility and movement lets you achieve better positions, which will allow you to be more efficient in your lifts or movements, which will translate to getting stronger and faster, Wickham says. How to do mobility right. Don't think of mobility as a specific type of workout, but rather as a general athletic skill, like strength or power or speed, Holder says. And as with building strength or speed, you need to build mobility with multiple techniques. At the bare minimum, Holder suggests a warm-up routine with 3 components: myofascial work like foam rolling or ball rolling, controlled dynamic stretches, bodyweight movements, like the squat or lunge. Most important, move slowly and deliberately. Controlled dynamic stretching will increase joint range of motion and enhance muscle power better than both static stretching and ballistic stretching. Matching your warm-up with your workout will not only activate the muscles you're focusing on, but also cement proper joint alignment and muscle activation in your brain, Holder adds. In addition to pre-workout mobility, incorporate functional movements into your daily workouts. Trade your typical cardio for swimming or rowing to improve upper body range of motion. Work moves like bear crawls or duck walks into your strength sessions.